James, it ends 2-0 to Wimbledon in the second round of the FA Cup. What did you make of the game today?
I thought the game, actually, you know what, like you said 2-0, obviously one goal came right at the end before the final whistle, so it felt more like a 1-0 than 2-0. I actually thought it was a game that probably deserved half a dozen goals, really. I thought it was a game full of chances, first half and second half, and Wimbledon started strongly, as we knew they would. South London side, so we expected that. They scored from distance. We settled. Felt that we managed to create a midfield overload to help us going forward. Won a penalty, unfortunately didn't score it. And then, so the first half was quite chaotic, really, for both sides. Both sides created chances. And the second half, I felt we dominated. Look, we created a lot of chances. We could probably have opened the pitch a bit more, which might have made the difference. But in terms of territory and chance creation, it wasn't bad for us. In terms of dominating in important areas, we could have done a bit more.
Yeah, we created a huge amount of chances, but do you think Wimbledon's defending was just too strong for us today?
Yes, Wimbledon defended in two ways. They did a high press and they did a mid block as well, which they varied between. I think the way they pressed us early on was how we've been pressing other teams sometimes when we felt it's valuable, and they obviously did that to us. When we worked out how to break a line from that, we were okay, but we just needed to settle into that. And then when they went for a mid-block, really that gave us the ball, gave us opportunities to drive with the ball, and there were, as I say, there were opportunities there for us to work the ball into areas that we know we're really dangerous from, and that's probably where we can look at it and say, you know what, that's what we can work on the next week or two, and it's certainly where we've got success in previous games. So we didn't do that as much today. So yes, Wimbledon let us have the ball now second half, and then counter-attacked. Well done to them, because they got a clean sheet against Billericay Town, which is tough. And I know we created a lot of chances, and I know we didn't score them. But yeah, congratulations to Wimbledon.
Yeah, they started the game well, and it looked like they caught us off guard, which resulted in them taking the lead. After that goal, though, we pushed and pushed for the rest of the game. Is that reaction a positive that we can take from this one?
I think so. That's what I'd expect. I'd expect that when we go behind, we push. I think it's difficult with football because it's not just a logical sport, it's an emotional sport and how people feel. And obviously before this, I think since I've come in, it's been something like 5 from 5, and a lot of goals scored. So this is the first time we went behind the game since I've come in, and it can make people feel like they felt before when they went behind in games. You know, oh, yeah, I've got that feeling again. So, like, tactically we pushed and physically we pushed, but emotionally it's a challenge for players to go behind and to manage that, and sometimes you can regress into old habits. So that's probably something we've come up against today, that it was going to happen sooner or later. And look, the positives we can take from it is, as you said, Ben, that we did push, and we certainly created enough chances to score quite a few goals in the game. But the longer the game goes on, when you're not winning or when you're losing, the more positive we all have to be with each other to encourage each other, because that's when we need the positivity. When we're down, when we're up, it's easy. So when we're down, that's the challenge for us. But I felt we had a good go, and in the end, it's a cup tie. It felt like a cup tie, and we have to congratulate Wimbledon and wish them all the best for the next round.
Yeah, we can't be too disheartened by the result, can we? Because we're going well in the league. We know we can put together a winning run. It's just a case now of dusting ourselves off and getting ready for the next game, isn't it?
I think so. What can we affect out of this? We can affect the quality, intensity of training. Everybody, players and staff. We've been working more on a microcycle in terms of preparation for players. So managing load, preventing injury. So we need to stretch that now really to a mesocycle where we look at short-term gains, but we also make sure we're doing the best by players in terms of intensity and load management in training. And it gives everybody something to train for Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll see whether we have a fixture next week or not. But I think sooner or later this was going to happen, and what we have to understand is that the result doesn't tell us if it's a good or bad performance. We have to analyse the performance and work out what parts of our identity we got out in it, as well as what could have made the difference if we'd done things slightly differently in moments. So it's a bad result. It wasn't a bad performance, but there are parts of it that we're all looking forward to working on this week.